Yo, it's raw like get raw, man. Look, it's the claw. I'm rocking with Gully TV. You niggas better pay attention or get found somewhere on the motherfucker.
Never in my living without scratch. So you never will bounce back. Yeah, this joint was hard right there. And then it turned into a fight. Yeah. I'll be forgetting sometimes all the joints we got.
If you tuned in to me watching Gully TV, we got a special guest here. A lot of people gonna be shocked at this. The depth of my hip hop coverage is going, it's spinning out of control. Shout out to HimLo. What's going on, Pimp? I appreciate you joining the dribble.
What's up, man? Everything is good, man. I'm just happy to be here. I'm glad you hollering at me, you know what I'm saying?
I got a lot of feedback, man, on that hat that I was sent. I was sent a package of merch, music, so I was introduced to y'all. And it was like I was late to the party. A lot of people was like, oh man, they been getting busy, you don't know about them. Like niggas love telling me when I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Because I profess to be the best at this.
Right.
Why don't you give me some history on you as a hip hop artist, growing up in Philly, how long you been rhyming, and I'll interject here and there because I got some questions. I know my Philly hip hop history. So.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, well, hip hop just been in my blood since I was like 7, 8 years old. And I remember when I was 11, my older brother took me to the Fresh Fest concert, Philly at the Spectrum. And that shit it was crazy ever since. And I grew up doing all of that shit. Graffiti, breakdancing, DJing, scratching. Me rhyming actually came a little bit later. But it was other aspects that I thought was a little doper than the rhyming. You know what I mean? I loved graffiti. I was like hooked on that shit. So
Was you nice?
Yeah. So
you
I
had
was
a tag name?
I had a couple names throughout the years. You know what I mean? So, but I had to switch up because sometimes you get hot at times.
Right.
And then, it was just like that. Plus, I was always testing my hand, so I was always coming up with different names. I'd rock with something for a couple years and I'll switch and go to something else.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I was pretty dope at that. So, that shit, breakdancing, I was battling niggas everywhere. Cookouts, block parties, all that shit. So, that shit just in my blood. It ain't just the rhyming. It's all of it. You know what I mean? So
the whole shebang.
The whole shebang. So it's like, I don't really look at myself as a dude that just rap, to be honest. I look at I'm just a hip hop dude. Like this is who I am. I was born the year that shit started. So that shit is meant for me. So that's how it is, man. But I've been doing all that shit since forever.
What part of the city you from?
I'm from Uptown, Staten Avenue.
Okay.
And it's a little more laid back than the rest of the city, right. But because of that, people they assume certain shit, but you know, man, it ain't like that.
Antigone got that flavor, man. I know.
We always did.
I know about Uptown.
We always did. You know what I'm saying? And I lived in numerous parts of the city. You know what I mean? I lived all over. Once I hit my late teenage years and shit like that. But I'm from Uptown, man, Staten Avenue.
When you say Uptown, what part of the city of Philadelphia would be considered Uptown?
That particular part of Uptown is Mount Airy.
Okay. That's
where I'm from. And it's surrounded by other parts. West Oak Lane, Somerville, East Side, Dogtown, Wadsworth. All that shit is up there. So, but I'm right in the middle of that, actually. Mount Airy is right there and it's surrounded by all of that. So that's where I'm from, Staten Avenue.
Growing up on Staten Avenue, was it an MC in the neighborhood? Who was nice? Who inspired you to do this?
Actually, I was in a group with one of them. When I was younger, it was dude like maybe a couple years older than me, my man Alcatraz. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have that name at the time. We just called him Puerto Rican Steve. That's what he was known around the way. But at that time, we talking about in the 80s, this is when everybody in their mom wasn't rhyming yet. So when you knew somebody that rhymed, that was a big deal.
It was.
And this was like one of the first dudes around my way that rhymed. He had a partner named Lonnie Styles. And there was another dude named Sure Shot that was rhyming from around the way too. So all that was like in the early 80s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for him to only been like a couple years older than me, he was all the way in the mix of like perfecting his craft.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We actually done an album with him that's about to drop like in another month.
Alright. So
Yeah.
you doing your thing, you got your man out, he nice, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the city is establishing an identity in hip hop as well. Where you at when Schoolie D popped off?
Schoolie D popped off. That shit was amazing shit. At that point, I was like a real heavy breakdancing nigga.
Okay.
So when that came out, the way that his songs were, you caught that vibe, and he really captured how Philly really sounded. Like whenever I hear Schoolie D, I just think of nighttime in Philly. That's how I feel. Like he really captured that shit. And at the time, I was breaking and still, mesmerized on the graffiti shit. I wasn't rhyming yet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But he was the nigga. He had some shit.
Okay, we're gonna go a little bit further. Where were you at during the 3 Times Dope era? Were you an MC yet?
Still not yet. But I used to see them around. They used to actually come be on my block.
Yes?
Yeah, because because Kamal from the Roots is from my block.
Okay.
So they used to come check him all the time. He wasn't even in the Roots yet.
Okay.
But he had a mentor that was like involved in a lot of shit, and they used to come see him. So them dudes used to be on my block. And EST used to come through the block. And at the time, he would be hanging with Kwame, so Kwame would be around too. Because they ended up like sharing DJs. Tat Money became Kwame's DJ. Tat Money was Steady B's DJ.
Right.
Yeah. So I used to see them dudes around, but I still wasn't rhyming yet.
Okay.
But we was rocking them heavy.
What year did you start playing with the MC element of hip hop?
When I already knew that I could rhyme, so I would just do little shit here and there, but I didn't have the confidence in it yet to like just be spitting for people. Right. But that didn't really happen for me until I want to say somewhere in the early to mid 90s. That's when I started really saying, I'm going to go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's when I started really just writing for real and going in the studio.
When you say early to mid 90s, I need like a little bit more precise years. So
I want to say like maybe 92.
Okay.
92, 91, 92. That's when I really started sitting down and trying to figure out how you put it together correctly instead of just writing joints that I just knew for myself.
What was hip hop in 92? What was it? You know how now it may be. It's went through different.
92 in 92, I remember Gangstar had Dwick was out, Headbangers was out from EPMD and all that shit. I remember 92 had a lot of dope shit. Super Cat came out. Punks Jump Up to Be a Beat Down was out. I remember that specifically. One thing about me in music, I remember years of my life from songs. It always tells me exactly where I was at and what I was doing.
Facts.
So music is ingrained in me it's part of my memory bank.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So what was the fatal blow? What made you go ahead and get in the booth in 1992? What was it? Was it the right time, or you were spending time around a lot of MCs and studios? What?
Most of the people I know, I grew up with a lot of people that rhyme.
Okay.
In my neighborhood, it was a bunch of dudes, and they had hit a point where they was starting to go more serious. I was doing whatever I was doing, but then when I came around and I saw how serious they was, I said, "Yo, all right, let's do it." I tried my hand at it.
Okay. But during the course of you going through these different stages of hip hop, you were Lowlife the whole time.
Oh yeah, I've been Lowlife since '92. I'm 93. 93.
Okay.
I was in 93.
So you kind of like started to embrace the Lowlife lifestyle as you was becoming an MC.
Right. But I was already catching wreck in the streets and doing certain shit. Right. But then I got plugged in with a Lowlife, B Bill. You know, he was the lowlife from Brooklyn that kind of started the whole thing in Philly.
So when Boostin Bill came to Philadelphia, you were one of the guys who encountered him?
Yeah. What it was me and my homie Aunt Rory, he passed recently too. Rest in peace to him. But me and him, we was doing a lot of shit, stealing cars, running in and out of leather coat stores, doing all kind of just wild shit. But Aunt was fucking with this big chick named Big Shirley. She was a booster though. And she used to fold shit up, hide it.
Before you go on further, is the boosting trade, is that a Uptown trade?
No, that's a Philly trade.
Okay, it's a Philly trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Philly trade.
All right, so Big Shirley the booster.
All right, Big Shirley, she used to boost every day. She had her little hoopty. She was too big to fit in that shit, to be honest, but she was driving that shit every day. Man, she would just fold shit up, hide it in the rolls of her fat, all kind of shit. So I used to be like, yo, why you fucking with this chick? Like, she big as shit, she look crazy. But he was like, yo, she be getting bread. So, and then one day, she introduced us to B Bill because he lived around the corner from her. So she was like, yo might want to fuck with them. They be on route all the time. So, man, it was B Bill. And I remember the first time we went out, it was B Bill, Rich Low. I think it was Sergeant Squash. For some reason, I feel like the nigga Squash was there. But, and then from there, we was just catching wreck. But we was already doing shit. So.
I ain't heard the word route in so long. Can you explain to my listeners, man? I'm loving this. Tell my listeners what route is. Tell them what a route was.
A route is when you go on a specific mission and you going through whatever your mission is, you kind of got them already planned out. We going to hit this spot, then we going to hit that, then we going to hit that. And every day we had a mission, a different route of what we was going to do all day, you know, or how we was going to rob this store, how we was going to take money. So that's how it was. We was on routes.
So before you met Boostin Bill, you had already bust a couple routes.
I was already doing shit.
Already routed.
I was already doing shit. I was doing all kind of crazy shit. So that's what it was, because it was more so, I don't know, it was a rush for it. Plus you wanted some bread, and it was just some shit we was just doing, you know.
Encountering him, did he elevate y'all game? Did he bring the Lizzie bag game? Did he have different methods of folding garments?
I saw him do some certain things. We went to a spot called Goldberg. It just closed recently in Philly. There's a famous store, got like all type of outerwear, hunting wear, raincoat shit. And I was in there with him, and I saw him do some crazy shit. He had the foil and all that shit. I didn't know anything about that. I really had no clue. All I had was like these little wire cutter joints, or sometimes I would fight with the joints and just pop them joints off, you know what I mean? But he was more equipped for what was happening, and I learned some shit from him, you know what I'm saying? And that was cool, you know. I picked up a few different things, so.
So encountering him, you was already routing, you already taking money or whatever.
Definitely.
So once you encounter him, Polo and Ralph Lauren garments, they have value now. Did he explain to y'all?
He didn't really explain it, but we just saw it. We saw the uniform. But like I had a couple pieces, and a few of us, especially, you know, Uptown, we was rocking low, but we didn't look at it that way. But when I saw how they was looking at it, it was like, oh, this is really the uniform. This ain't just you got some shit because it's dope, but it's more like this is what we rocking. So that's what it was. And then it became, from that point on, it became you try to build your closet. You trying to build your whole catalog of low shit. So that's what that was.
Now, becoming a low life, I met a few of them from Philly.
Right.
In juvenile joints. There was other garments that they wore that I don't know. Although it wasn't Ralph Lauren, it was official. I knew Lowlifes to wear a lot of Sergio Tacchini and Fila. Could you give me some history on that? Is there a connection between the Lowlifes and Fila?
Yes, there is. There's always a connection because the first of all, when you're dealing with fashion, you're dealing with sneakers. Some people, I don't know, some people don't get that, but they go hand in hand. And I remember in the mid '80s, early and mid '80s, that was like, you know, the drug dealer with money sneakers, the Filas. So niggas was rocking them. So if you took some shit and you got some bread, you got Fila. Plus they had fly colors, you know, blue ones, red, blue. It was a lot of red, white, and blue colors, which I love. They had the green ones and shit like that, so that's how we was rocking.
And Polo was established in a similar color.
Polo had the right, especially with the Polo Sport and shit. I like the more colorful low than anything else. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was always together, but it wasn't just Fila and Sergio Tech, because you also Guess was a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you might have, you know, low shirt and Guess jeans. You know what I mean?
You break down the prestige level of low, because I interviewed Rudy Lowe and he told me, he was like, I don't fuck with Polo Sport. And he said, because that's not original. He like, that came out later or some shit like that. He said, man, I wear straight low. You know what I'm saying? So is there a price difference? Is there a preference in the different Ralph Lauren pieces?
There's not much of a price difference, but I would say for a time, Polo Sport, he kind of stepped away from it for a minute, and it just is like a resurgence the last few years. Before a minute, it was gone. But I remember when it was going strong, I liked it because it had more flavor. It was a lot of colors, it was a lot of designs and shit. You see what I'm saying? All that, you had the ski shit, the stadium type shit like that. But, you know, you had a lot of different designs. I used to have shit with the big anchor on it and, you know, shit like that. You know, the small horsies, they was cool, but I wanted shit that was big. I wanted the shit to stand out.
So you know, a lot of that fly shit that we like, that was the Low Sport line?
A lot of that was the Low Sport, or a lot of times that was the stadium.
Okay.
It's either one of those, you know what I mean? Most of the times it was that. You know?
Now, when they produce a piece like a Snow Beach, what is that? Is that a rare, one-of-a-kind print? It's
rare. I'm not going to say one-of-a-kind, but it's still rare. They floating around. You can catch them. You know what I mean?
Do they still produce them?
They still produce. Matter of fact, they dropped some a couple years ago, like right before the COVID shit. They brought them back out, and they brought also some black and white Snow Beach shit. You know, I think they called them the winter time, some shit. I don't know, but they brought them out too. So they've been around, and they brought out the what the hell you call them? The ponchos, the Snow Beach ponchos. Yeah. So they brought those out a couple years ago. Yeah.
So how long did your relationship with Boostin build? How long did that last? And did he explain to you that he was a part of a larger body of people back in
He never, to be honest, he never really talked about it. We just did what we did, and he know who was Lowlifes and shit. But I'm gonna be honest, I never really tell this to nobody. But there was something that B. Bill said to me one time. This is because the relationship, I was rocking with him till, like, I saw him like a few weeks, like right before he passed. But one of the things he said to me was, there was too many things going on as far as people not getting along a certain way in the Lowlifes. Matter of fact, I don't even want to go into that, but I've known him until shortly right before he passed.
And not to reach, technically, was it like the Lowlifes was a collective of street stars?
Yeah.
Each one of these guys got their own flavor, rocked it a particular way. Was that, in essence, is that what you think it was? People lobbying for you know what I'm saying? I'm the guy. You
always wanted to look fresh and be that fresh nigga. You know what I mean? So that was a big part of it. And you wanted to be known for having a dope collection. But more importantly, at that time, more so also for being able to take your collection.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? It's different now. Like,
it's a difference between taking it and buying it.
Yeah, it was no... if you look at... I'm not original because you got... they started in 88.
Right.
I'm from Philly. It wasn't there yet. But I will say, at the time when I got on, you had to become a lowlife. You really had to earn it. Now it's an internet thing. Like, you can anybody can just throw low on, show up to events, and somebody could co-sign them and say, and that's cool too, because we can't be a whole bunch of 40 and 50-year-old men running around robbing, or you can be. I ain't gonna do that, but right. You know what I'm saying. But that's what it is. But I remember you actually had to take low. I don't want
to claim low life.
Yeah. So
I think I like that. I think I like that lane a little bit more.
And all low lifes didn't boost though, but they were still doing criminal activities for they low.
Okay.
So you had low lifes that, they did what they did on the block.
Hey, yo, peace. This is your boy Noah the Flood. Right now, I'm rocking with Gully TV. You know what I'm saying? Tap in, get in tune with the dribble, you heard? You know what it is.